Hey guys, today I'm going to continue my F1 2012 career mode. We are in China for the third round of the 2012 season, and as you can see there is no rain projected, but that's kind of irrelevant because it rained in the race, but you will see that once we get there. So it's time for qualifying. The team expects me to qualify 18th, but that's pretty unrealistic to say the least. So it's 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining Q1 and I finish my first flying lap. It put me in P19 just ahead of my teammate, but as you can see pretty far from getting into Q2. So it's the end of the first sector, and as you can see I'm improving and I'm also quicker than Mark Webber's first sector time, almost by 2/10, which is pretty surprising that we are this competitive in the first sector, but the rest of the track is we just lose so much time that by the end of the lap I'm slower around 3 or 4 seconds than him, so yeah. So it's the end of the second sector and I'm improving on my own time by 3/10, but as you can see I'm already down by almost a second compared to Webber, which is still pretty good I think because he's in a Red Bull after all and I'm in a Marussia, so there is of course going to be some performance difference, but we lose a lot of time on the straight due to the Cosworth engine. Meanwhile of course Red Bull runs the Renault engines and they have cars, so yeah, and of course Mark Webber is on the harder compound, meanwhile I'm on the soft. So coming out the last corner and I improve a bit, but it's only P19, that's the highest position I can qualify, and this is the results of Q1. Now it's time to look at the actual grid for the race. Fernando Alonso qualifies on pole once again. Behind him is the pair of Mercedes, Schumacher and Rosberg. Lewis Hamilton qualifies 4th, Kobayashi 5th, Jens Button 6th, Sergio Perez 7th, Massa 8th, Raikkonen in P9 and Maldonado in P10. Sebastian Vettel didn't even make it to Q3, that's kind of surprising. He qualifies P11, behind him is Grosjean, then Paul Di Resta, then Bruno Senna. Mark Webber was eliminated in Q2, he only qualifies 15th. So it's going to be an interesting race because the two Mercedes cars are looking pretty quick and they might end up challenging Fernando for the win, especially if his car fails again. Okay, so we are away. Well, the start was pretty dreadful, but that's just the usual stuff. I try to be careful into turn 1. So I'm trying to regain the positions that I lost and the field gets bunched up a bit, so this gives me an opportunity to attack into turn 3. And I made some contact with Grosjean, but luckily I didn't get any damage. I go to the inside to defend and I was also able to make a move on Grosjean, but he just pulls away due to the better engine. I tried to stick around the outside, but there is just no enough grip there. Meanwhile Ricciardo tries to overtake me, but I try to defend by carrying more speed through the corner, and Jensen Button was off the track. I think he started from 6th position, so he has a lot of work ahead of him if he wants to be on the podium in the top 5 at the very least. Ricciardo is behind me and I move into the inside to defend, but I overshoot the corner and he moves ahead of me up to P19, meanwhile I'm in P20 by the end of the first lap. So it's the start of the second lap and the AI into turn 1 is really slow, as you can see. I just overtook Ricciardo and I'm at the back of Della Rosa, who is running in P18th, but Ricciardo retakes the position from me and I dive down the inside and I also move up on Della Rosa and I'm in P18 now. So it's the beginning of lap 3 and Fernando still leads the race ahead of the two Mercedes cars. Then Lewis is in 4th. Vettel made up a lot of positions. He started from 11th place and now he's 5th. Then Kobayashi, Raikkonen, Perez, Maldonado, Webber, Massa, and I didn't see who was the driver in 12th position, but who cares, right? And I just kind of went wide over turn 1, but it's fine. So it's lap 13 and I'm making my first pit stop of the race. Get a new set of softs, and well, it was kind of a slow pit stop, 5.6 seconds. So it's lap 14 and currently the race is being led by Fernando. Then Raikkonen is in 2nd place. He's in a different strategy. He's on the option tires. Hamilton is 3rd. Schumacher, Ricciardo is yet to pit, that's why he's 5th. Sebastian Vettel 6th. Rosberg, Button, Kobayashi, Maldonado, Perez, Di Resta. Grosjean is pretty down on the grid. He's only 13th. Massa and Webber, they are only 15th and 16th. That's a bit weird, but I guess this is not exactly their race. Lap 25 and I'm getting lapped by Fernando Alonso, and I'm also going to come into the pits for my second pit stop, which I'm going to put on a new set of prime tires. This time the pit stop is a bit faster, 5.1 seconds, around half a second faster than the first one. So it's lap 38 and as you can see the weather changed a bit. It started to rain, especially in the first sector. It's really, as you can see, it's really strong in the first sector, and soon, probably around 3 or 4 laps from now on, I will have to come into the pits for new intermediate tires. Lap 43 and there is enough rain on the track to put on the intermediate tires. As you could see, everybody entered the pits to change. So it's still lap 43 and the race is being led by Fernando, then Hamilton, Vettel, Kobayashi, Raikkonen, Perez, Button, Grosjean, Webber, Schumacher and Rosberg. The 2 Mercedes cars are doing not so great in the rain. It looks like it didn't really work out for them. Lap 51 and it rained so much that it requires the drivers to put on the wet weather tires. There is 5 laps to go. So it's the end of the race and as you can see Fernando Alonso won and I finished P19. Unfortunately there were no retirements, so P19 was the highest position I could finish in. Unfortunately my teammate is only 24th, he had some sort of issue with his car I think. Fernando Alonso wins the race, finally his car didn't break down on him. Lewis Hamilton finishes 2nd, Kobayashi with Sauber gets a podium, he finishes 3rd, Sebastian makes a great recovery starting from 11th, finishes 4th, Raikkonen 5th, Jensen Button 6th, he also made a great recovery, I think he spun in the first lap and he had to make his way up on the grid. Perez finishes 7th, Grosjean 8th, Felipe Massa 9th and Mark Webber P10. Nico Hülkenberg is 11th with Force India. Then the 2 Mercedes cars, 12th and 13th, they started from 2nd and 3rd and they didn't even score a single point, so not a great weekend for them. The rest of 14th, Senna, Ricciardo, Verne, Maldonado and the rest of the grid, and now you are looking at the Drivers' Championship. Jensen leads ahead of Lewis, then Sebastian, Raikkonen, Felipe, Massa, Sergio Perez. Fernando is finally scored his first points this season. Out of 3 races he scored 3 pole positions, but only finished 1 race, or only scored points 1 race. Kobayashi is in 8th, Rosberg 9th. Mark Webber is down in 10th place, he had a pretty rough start to the season. Grosjean P11, Schumacher P12, Maldonado, Di Resta, Hülkenberg, Ricciardo, Senna, me, then the 2 Caterhams, and then the other 2 drivers. So this was the Chinese Grand Prix, the 3rd round of the season. Thank you for watching and bye.